Hey guys, what is up? It is Dan Lags, and welcome back to part 6 of my real life house let's build. What's up guys? How's everybody doing? We're back today ready to continue to make some progress in this thing. We made some pretty good progress so far, and I did do some things to it off camera that I would like to share with you guys before we get started with the building today. So one major thing that I did change to this place is I actually made it so the windows here are a little bit different. I decided to put slabs right here just outside of the first windows. I decided to not double stack them so they're more indented, and overall I just think it looks a little bit better for the front of the house in terms of how it's supposed to look in real life. So I decided to ultimately go with that. I pretty much did that throughout the entire outside of the build, kind of just indented the windows and kind of double stacked them. And then along with that, I was also able to kind of finish the porch here. I just pretty much filled in the roof here, just did that. And then I kind of just did that last window right there to kind of just complete the exterior of the house. And basically the outside, other than the landscaping, is pretty much done. And speaking of landscaping, I think that's what I'm going to try to make some progress on today. I'm going to try to put in my back patio. I'm going to try to put in the front walkway of the house. And just try to add that stuff. Maybe I can even get to the driveway as well. Try to add some landscaping with some of the shrubbery that we have. And it's really a simple landscape, so it shouldn't take too long to kind of perfect. And that's what I'm going to do today. And then after that, I think next episode I'm probably going to work on the basement of the house, kind of dig that thing out in between episodes, and then kind of like work on that, put up the walls and everything. So that's going to be the plan for the next couple episodes of the Let's Build. As far as doing like interior and stuff like that, I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot on the Let's Build. I think I'm going to kind of just do it on my own because I've realized the interior is going to take a lot of time because it's very detailed. There's a lot of stuff in my house, so I need to make sure that I have it perfect, and I want to kind of sit down and kind of focus on that without having to worry about talking and building at the same time. So I'm probably going to do the interior off camera, and once that's finished, then I'm going to do a final tour of the house on PC with the shaders mods, and then I'm also going to convert it back to Xbox 360 and show you guys what it looks like on the city texture pack and the default texture pack. Obviously, I need to switch out some blocks before like the final product of the build. I need to switch out some blocks because prismarine, diorite, granite, all the stuff I've been using is not on Xbox yet, so I'm gonna have to switch all that stuff out first, which shouldn't take too long. So anyway, let me come up here and show you guys just a little bit of progress I've made on the interior. I actually did furnish this room. This is currently the only room that's furnished. This is my bathroom. So we have a shower right here. It's kind of like a step up. It's a tub and a shower into one. And then right here we have my toilet, and this hay bale thing, which I think looks amazing in this texture pack, is supposed to be these curtains that we have, and they're actually like very similar to that in terms of look. Obviously, they're not block shaped, but you kind of have to roll with it. And then this is my counter for the sink and things like that. So that's basically the bathroom for my house and that I use every day. And then this block right here is actually end stone. Obviously, not a very good looking block in most texture packs, but here it actually does kind of look like the wallpaper in my house in terms of the color. Obviously, like this texture on it isn't ideal, but I think it actually looks really good overall. So I'm going to probably use that. And then in here, this is obviously my room and stuff like that. So again, I'm going to do a lot of the interior off camera because I really want to try to perfect it. And it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of different trial and error. And I know it's going to be a pain in the butt to try to do on a video. So I'm going to be working on that later on. But let's get to the landscaping, guys. Let's work on that today. So what I'm going to use for this, I think I'm going to go with polished granite as my patio. And I'm just going to start off by like just doing a little bit of just a little bit of a border to it. My patio is pretty simple, really. It kind of just snakes around through here, goes up along the porch, kind of just goes down over here, and there's basically just kind of like a little space over here that we can kind of work with. So what I'm going to do is I am going to have the patio kind of go through here, and then what it does is it kind of goes this way a little bit and then back this way, and then back this way even more, and then it kind of starts to turn back this way. So we'll go maybe 3 or 2 and 3 and 2, and then 1, then 3. Just kind of see how this is looking right now, because this is going to be another thing that's going to take a little bit of time to perfect, because basically how it works is I have kind of like a little pathway over here. So let me just kind of work on that for a second here. So the pathway kind of runs around like this, and maybe goes 2, then we'll go 3, then 2 this way, then 3 right here, then back this way. Just kind of like snakes in and out, really, and that's kind of how I want to do this. And then we'll go maybe 5, go 3, and then 3 more. And that's kind of how that works. I might make that actually a little bit less crazy. Let me grab some grass to fix that and break this open and place that there. Obviously I don't want it to be like a straight line like this, so we'll probably go like that and do something like that. And that's going to be basically kind of what I want to do. Probably just go like that instead, just to make that a little bit less flat. So that's pretty good. And then basically over here on the other side of the patio, I guess it really depends on how far across it would go. So obviously it turns back this way and heads back towards the garage, kind of like this. So we'll kind of have that go this way, and it kind of connects out to like a path over here, and then again over here as well. So make this like a 3-block wide path, kind of have this run through here. I'm just going to punch this whole thing open and just fill it in with some polished granite. I think that's going to be a nice looking block for this, because it actually is like that color, so it'll work good. And I'm just going to kind of take this out here, and this basically goes around, and there's flower beds around the whole patio and stuff like that, so it'll look pretty good, hopefully. I'm just going to have this get broken here. So we're going to have this run all the way down, and then over here as well, I want to kind of come back over here for a second, make sure this is right. I'm actually going to probably expand this out a little bit more, because it does go wider than this, so it's probably going to be better doing something like that. Yeah. And then basically we have kind of like a flower bed right here that needs to be kind of added. So I'll go like 2 and then 3 and then 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. We'll go 2 there. This is something that I'm going to have to kind of constantly tweak, but, you know, for starters, this is looking pretty good. And we're going to go like that. I think that's going to be pretty good. So now, basically, I just kind of have to break all the grass that's kind of in between the borders that I just created for myself. I could use World Edit for this, but I kind of want to just do it normal for now. I might do World Edit for, like, the driveway, because that could take a while to break, but I think I'm just going to do it normal for now, and I don't really want to spam click this to get this broken quicker, because it's going to be really loud. So I'm just going to break this normally and fill it in with the granite. That should look pretty good. And then we have kind of like a fire pit over here. There's a bunch of trees. There's a ton of trees. And we have a flower bed. So like there's a bunch of stuff we got to add to the backyard landscape. But other than like the patio, it's really just like a big 2-acre yard. So there's really nothing much else to add besides that. So once we have this kind of filled in, it'll be pretty much good to go. And then we can break all this stuff as well. Kind of have this open up. And I'm just going to start off today by filling this in with the granite once I have everything broken. And then from there, I think I'm going to move on to the front patio or the front walkway or whatever. We'll do that today, kind of knock both of those things out, and we'll go from there. So again, the outside of the house is done, like the exterior of the house is finished. So we're on that point where we're working on some landscape now. So we're getting pretty close to the end of this Let's Build. Again, guys, this is probably only going to be like a 7 or 8 part Let's Build. I'm not going to go into detail on the interior. I really want to make this thing like an exact replica, and I know I'm going to get sidetracked, and I'm not going to be able to do my best work when I'm trying to do, like, you know, recording and building at the same time, because I'm trying to rush things into 20 minutes, and it's simply not going to take 20 minutes for me to furnish stuff. Like, it takes a long time. Like, I usually spend like 20 minutes on like each room when I'm doing furnishing, because I'm always trying to like stare at it and make sure that I'm building something that I really like, and I'm not like rushing it. So interior is boring to watch anyway, in my opinion, so I'll probably just, you know, skip that, and you guys can see everything finished on like the final product of the build. So, and plus, you know, I'm not trying to like do inspiration or anything for this. This is kind of just like a replica. So if I was doing like a build for inspiration like I've done in the past, like even my last build, the Victorian mansion, that build was for inspiration. So obviously I did a lot of the interior on camera, so not the same for this particular build. This is all about creating an exact replica is really the goal for this. So I'm just going to continue to fill this in with the polished granite, which is a really beautiful block in this texture pack. I like it a lot. It's super detailed. It looks actually incredibly realistic, and I don't know 100% sure what particular kind of stone or whatever was used for my patio on my actual house, but I have a feeling that it actually might be granite, because this color looks exactly the same as the house, or as the my patio. Like, it's literally this exact kind of color, this kind of orangey, chiseled stone block. So I'm imagining that it's probably something along those lines. But anyway, let's just kind of get this filled in. We'll figure that out. And then there's basically like a border on it as well. It's amazing the stuff that I have access to now, because when I first built this thing, or when I built my house on Danville 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, I literally had nothing access. I had none of these blocks. Like, none of this stuff was available to me. I would probably use stone for this, or stone slabs, or something simple. So that just goes to show you, you know, how far this thing has come. All right, guys. So that's kind of like a rough outline of what my patio looks like. It's actually pretty good. I'm gonna need to make some small changes to it, but as far as, you know, what my patio basically looks like, this is pretty darn close. So this is a good start, and I'm probably going to do some small tweaks and refinements to this off camera between this episode and the next, but I think this is looking pretty solid. And now I'm just going to decide what kind of block I want to use for the soil or whatever. I could use podzol, I could use coarse dirt, which I'm probably going to end up using. I could also use brown stained clay. I gotta use coarse dirt though, right? Like, that is just a solid, that looks like mulch. It absolutely looks like mulch. We're using coarse dirt. So I'm gonna start just doing a couple of little beds of mulch, basically, is kind of what we have. So it's real simple. It'll kind of just wrap around to this corner right there, and then all this grass will be ripped up. I'm not sure if coarse dirt turns back into regular grass. I think it might be immune to that. I'm not 100% sure though. I don't use coarse dirt. It's not on Xbox, so I really don't know the properties of it. But we have kind of like a flower bed there that's kind of right up on the edge. And then over here, we need to grab some gravel. Let's see. I actually might use diorite for this, because diorite looks pretty good. And it also kind of, yeah, that's a good block. We're going to use this. We're going to use the new blocks because it's cool. I like using the new blocks. They all look really good, too. All right, so we kind of have like this little gravel base, like right around the back door into the basement. This is supposed to be the back door into the basement, by the way. And then right here again, we're gonna have the coarse dirt. Let me also check. So far so good. It hasn't turned back, so that's a good sign. So let's use the coarse dirt. This whole thing is just gonna get ripped up right along the edge of the wall. We have a huge flower bed here. It's really not a flower bed, it's more like just shrubbery, but it kind of wraps around the entire house right here, going all the way to the front. So I'm just gonna kind of turn it and head it back this way, like right along the edge here, and kind of have this go around. So we'll do that, kind of get this filled in with some coarse dirt, which, again, just a beautiful block right here, coarse dirt. Just a little bit more dark than regular dirt, and it's got a little bit of a texture to it that makes it look like mulch. I'm a big fan. I was originally going to use like stained clay, but this is so much more detailed, so this is looking great. I'm just loving this Let's Build, guys. Loving using all these fancy new blocks and this beautiful texture pack. It's just been a very, very refreshing Minecraft experience. So something like that, and we kind of have like a flower bed goes around. I'll work on that later. And then, of course, in here as well, this whole thing is going to get turned to dirt as well. So I'm not going to do that right now, because you kind of get the idea of what's happening here. And, of course, there's going to be more, you know, bushes and things like that in this space. So that's kind of like what I'm going to do in between episodes, because, again, we don't have all the time in the world to work on this stuff. So now what I'm going to do is kind of just, you know, put a bookmark in this, and I'll come back later on to kind of finish it up. But so far, this looks pretty darn good. That looks very, very similar to the real-life patio, so I'm happy with that. Gonna have to add a couple of benches, some chairs, an umbrella, fire pit, and all that stuff, but we have plenty of time to do all that stuff. So now let's move on to the front. And for the front, I'm going to be using some stone slabs for this. Actually, I might use stone bricks. Yeah, I'm going to be using stone bricks. Basically, we kind of have like a little stone brick. Actually, I'm going to use the full blocks because those are easier to place. Here we go. So basically, we kind of have like a stone brick patio here on the front. It's not really a patio. It's really just like a front walkway. So this kind of just punches out here a little bit. And then there's basically just kind of shrubbery all around it. It's a really simple landscape. You know, nothing too fancy. We don't like go all out with the landscaping like you would if you saw like a mansion or something like that. You know, we don't have like landscapers come to our house and do it like professionally. It's just real simple landscape. Nothing too crazy about it at all. And then right here we're gonna have the pathway that runs down towards the driveway. So kind of have this go all the way down. And we kind of have like a winding driveway that's pretty long. So we're going to have to definitely work on that. That's going to be actually a tough thing. Is this gravel right here? Oh, you know, this block is actually really nice looking. I might use that instead of the diorite on the backyard, but we'll worry about that later. So once we get to like this point here, it starts to kind of turn and go back this way a little bit. So just kind of keep that in mind. a little bit like that. And it basically connects like right out near the driveway, which is like right there. So now all I have to do is just kind of fill this in with some stone brick and kind of just go from there. So again, it's a really simple landscape that shouldn't take too long at all to kind of perfect, and then I'll be kind of done with it. So that's pretty good. And let me just I kind of like covered this up. There's a lot of little ponds underneath here. I kind of just world edited this flat space for this build, so have to kind of work around those. Alright, so this is going to kind of run through here like that. And that's basically how it works. We have another bed of mulch here with a tree, so I'll add that later. And then everything in here is just going to be mulch, and then it's going to be just like random shrubbery, pine trees, and things like that, just everything we have pretty much. And I think I'm going to make this 3 blocks wide, just because it is a little bit thick anyway, so that'll kind of go like this, and just make that 3 blocks wide, heading back towards where the driveway is going to be. And I'm going to have this run across here and connect all the way down. I really wish that this was easier. It's so much easier to place blocks in succession on Xbox than it is on PC. Alright, so there we go. That's pretty much exactly the way it looks. You know, there's nothing about it that's any, you know, crazy or anything like that. So the next thing to do would be to add some coarse dirt, and then since it is the autumn right now, I'm also going to mix in some podzol. So basically, we have these beds of mulch here that's just right up against the wall in between the pathway and the actual wall of the house. But since it's autumn right now, there's a lot of leaves falling. I'm going to kind of scatter in some podzol, and look at this block, guys. Like, holy crap, that's such a beautiful block. I love it so much. I wish we had something like this on Xbox, because I would utilize it to the fullest potential. But these are just supposed to represent little, like, you know, piles of leaves that we haven't, you know, cleared away yet, because we're lagging behind on that a little bit. No pun intended, of course. And yeah, so that'll basically run all the way across through there. And I'm gonna scatter podzol like all around the front lawn, because I'm gonna make it exactly replica of what it is right now. And it is fall, it is autumn right now, and there are leaves all over my yard. So podzol is the way we're gonna do that. But that's looking pretty good for now, guys. So for the rest of this episode, for the next couple of minutes, I'm just gonna kind of give you guys an idea of what I'm going to be doing next episode with the basement. So right here is our basement, and it is just a one door, but obviously the doors in Minecraft are so unproportional, and it actually frustrates me how unproportional they are. So I probably will end up making this a double door here. So let me just grab this, and I'll probably end up doing that, even though that's not how it is in real life. But the doors are just wider in real life, and they're taller, so that's really like the best thing I can do. And then what I'm also been doing is I'm gonna just go ahead and place some wood above that, so it just looks like the door's been extended a little bit. So this is basically going to be the basement down here, and I'm going to dig this out. I already got started with it. I'm probably just going to world edit this thing down like 5 or 6 blocks, and this is kind of essentially how this is going to work. So what I'm going to be doing for this, I'm probably going to use some not snow. Actually, I might use snow. There's just so many options for white blocks that I could use, because I'm probably just going to go with white stained clay. So basically how this works is we have a really, I'm not going to lie, it's a pretty nasty basement. It is not well kept at all. We don't go down there. It's basically a wasteland. It's nothing to be proud of. So I'm going to try to spruce it up, make it look a little bit better. And the beauty of Minecraft is I could actually turn this into a beautiful basement if I really wanted to. So that is one of the luxuries of Minecraft, is I could turn my house into something that is way better than what it actually is. All right, so we used to have a base. The way that worked is, I think I might have told this story, but the way it worked is we used to have a basement that was furnished and everything. We had a little game room down here with a pool table, and we had an office and stuff like that. And then there was like storage down there as well. And then a couple years ago, there was a hurricane that came through. It was Hurricane Sandy that came through New Jersey, and it was pretty bad. Like, we lost power for like 2 weeks. At that point, I was at college anyway, but I wasn't really home for it. But our basement flooded pretty much, and yeah, so it ruined everything, and now it's pretty much just like a wasteland down here. So yeah, that was an issue, but that was really unfortunate. But we used to have a pretty nice little basement down here. I mean, it was never like a great basement, because it is pretty damp, because we kind of live in like a valley. So it's, if you want to have a really nice basement, you want to be, your house wants to be situated on a hill, because that way, it's not going to be damp, and like really deep underground. So it's not looking too good right now, but that was the issue with that stupid hurricane a couple years ago. that we lost power for like 2 weeks, so that was pretty brutal. But yeah, that was before YouTube or anything like that for me. Alright, so yeah, I'm just going to dig this out like 1 or 2 layers here before we conclude today's episode. But next episode, I'm going to work on this basement. I'm going to try to, you know, get this thing looking exactly the same as it does in real life. Have it, you know, all situated and nice and good looking. I'll probably fill in all the walls and dig this thing down deeper before you guys see me next time for episode 7. And I'll be working on this basement. Between this episode and the next, I will be working on some landscaping off camera. I'll be digging out the basement, and I'll be continuing to work on the interior as we go along here on this Let's Build. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. It's just been Dangeles. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll come back to you guys in a few days for episode number 7 of the series. We're getting really close to being done, so it's exciting, and I think it's looking pretty good. So again, guys, thanks very much for watching. It's been Dangeles. I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace out.